You're live from New Delhi, watching DD India Live, India's voice to the world. I'm Lipakshi Khurana, coming up in the next 30 minutes. US President Donald Trump imposes sanctions on the International Criminal Court for targeting the United States and its allies, repeating a move from his first term. US Secretary of State Marco Rubio to visit Israel and Arab states in mid-February, his first trip to Middle East after Trump proposal for United States to take over Gaza. Call for peace and end to crisis in DR Congo gained traction. UN calls for mediation even as African leaders are set to hold joint summit in Tanzania on Saturday. UN Human Rights Council's special session today. India's central bank cuts repo rate after 5 years. The repo rate reduced by 25 basis points to 6.25%. First policy review under RBI Governor Sanjay Malhotra. Well, on to the details now. US President Donald Trump signed an executive order that accuses the International Criminal Court of engaging in illegitimate and baseless actions targeting America and our close ally, Israel. Trump's administration has long opposed the ICC's investigations into US and allied nations, calling them unfair and politically motivated. Here's a report on this. US President Donald Trump slapped sanctions on the International Criminal Court on Thursday. He signed an executive order saying the court had abused its power by issuing an arrest warrant for Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. He ordered asset freezes and travel bans against ICC officials, employees and their family members, along with anyone deemed to have helped the court's investigations. The move coincides with a visit to Washington by Benjamin Netanyahu, who, along with his former defense minister and a leader of Palestinian militant group Hamas, is wanted by the ICC over the conflict in the Gaza Strip. Senate Democrats last week blocked a Republican-led bill that would have sanctioned the ICC for pursuing Israeli leaders. The 125-member ICC is a permanent court that can prosecute individuals for war crimes, crimes against humanity, genocide, and the crime of aggression against the territory of member states or by their nationals. The United States, China, Russia, and Israel are not members. There was no immediate reaction from the court, but the Netherlands, the country's host country, said it regrets Trump's sanctions order. The U.S. House passed a bill last month to sanction the ICC, but Senate Democrats blocked it last week, saying the bill could backfire on U.S. allies and firms. Anamika Pandey with Lipakshi Khurana, DD India. Well, the decision by the US president to slash US aid has triggered a backlash in the US too. Many protesters have voiced opposition to cuts in a key program which funds AIDS relief as a result of downsizing of US aid. More in this report.
Protests have erupted across the US against many policies and executive decisions taken by the US President Donald Trump. Protesters gathered outside the US State Department in Washington, D.C. on Thursday to voice their opposition to cuts in the US President's Emergency Plan for AIDS Relief, or PEPFAR. More than half of the program's grants are implemented by US aid. The protesters chanted slogans as police surrounded the area and rerouted the traffic. Trump government's effort to slash American foreign aid is also crippling the integrated global system, as per experts and according to the humanitarian organizations.
What they've done is completely illegal. Actually, Congress is the one that enacted a law creating PEPFAR. They're the ones that created the United States Agency for International Development. It's actually not up to Secretary Rubio, it's not up to the president, and it's certainly not up to Elon Musk to decide to destroy that, to abolish that. That's actually a clear violation of Article 1 of the Constitution that actually says it's up to Congress.
Officials have warned that millions would be at risk if PEPFAR program is not extended further. According to the State Department, PEPFAR has saved more than 26 million lives globally.
We've already seen what happens where if you privatize healthcare, then there will be cherry picking. Cherry picking of who gets funding. It won't be on merit. And also, people will be forced to pay out of pocket. Because HIV treatment is lifelong, that is too much to put on the shoulders of people living with HIV around the world.
US aid has been a target of the government reorganization program spearheaded by Elon Musk. The Trump government plans to keep fewer than 300 US aid staff out of agencies' thousands. Bureau Report, TD India.
Well, Panama has rejected the United States' claim that it has secured free passage for government vessels through the Panama Canal. A report.
This could well be the first embarrassing moment for the US Department of State under the Trump administration. In a sharp rebuttal, the Panama Canal Authority refuted a claim by the United States that it has secured free passage for government vessels through the Panama Canal while bowing to US pressure to quit a key Chinese project. Panamanian President Jose Raul Molino expressed his rejection of managing US-Panama ties based on lies and falsehood after the State Department's claim.
That is intolerable, simply intolerable. And today, Panama to you and to the world expresses my absolute rejection of continuing to explore the path of managing the bilateral relationship based on lies and falsehoods. Our ambassador in Beijing presented the corresponding document according to the agreement to announce the cancellation 90 days before. That is a decision I made.
The statement by Panama was released just hours after the announcement by the US Department of State. It denied any changes to the tolls and other fees. The statement said that Panama Canal Authority representatives would speak to US President Donald Trump on Friday afternoon. Panama further said that it had presented a document to exit the Belt and Road Initiative, but denied that the decision had been made at the request of the United States. Trump has accused Panama of charging excessive rates to use its trade passage, one of the busiest in the world. As per the Neutrality Treaty signed in 1977, when the United States agreed to return the canal to Panama, US military vessels are granted priority passage through the waterway. But all other ships must pay tolls that vary depending on size and type. Bureau Report, TD India.
Well, also, Mexican armed troops began guarding the fence snaking along the U.S. border as part of a deal with President Donald Trump, who delayed tariffs on Mexico in exchange for increased efforts against illegal migration and fentanyl smuggling. Locals, however, are skeptical the soldiers will make a difference so far as drug trafficking is concerned. And U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio will make his first visit to West Asia this month following President Donald Trump's comments on relocating Gaza's population. Secretary Rubio is set to attend the Munich Security Conference, after which he will visit Israel, the United Arab Emirates, Qatar and Saudi Arabia from February 13th to 18th. Speaking earlier on Thursday during a visit to the Dominican Republic, Rubio indicated that Trump is also seeking support for Gaza's reconstruction from nations with both the economic and technological capacity to assist, likely referring to wealthy Gulf Arab states. Meanwhile, Israel has informed the United Nations Human Rights Council that it will follow the United States in withdrawing its participation, the ambassador to the UN in Geneva said on Thursday. Council members have frequently raised allegations of Israeli human rights violations in the Gaza conflicts. Israel rejected the finding and said it takes care to avoid civilian casualties. It has long criticized the Geneva-based body and has disengaged in the past. Israel's ambassador to the UN in Geneva, Daniel, said the Human Rights Council has been a biased body since its beginning, with dictatorships lecturing democracies on human rights.
We are very close to the United States, but this step was not coordinated. We have been for a long time complaining about the things that I mentioned today. And this was a very good opportunity, following the step of President Trump, to also take our step that would have happened probably anyway.
Well, Ukraine received a first batch of French Mirage 2000 fighter jets as well as US-made F-16 fighters on Thursday. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky confirmed the arrival of all the jets as European allies seek to strengthen Kyiv's hand in the conflict. The fighter jets will now participate in defending the skies of Ukraine against Russian missiles and aircraft. Ukraine has repeatedly pressed Western allies to supply it with increasingly advanced arms and ammunition, including armored vehicles, tanks, long-range missiles and F-16 fighters since the beginning of the conflict. And moving on, President Emmanuel Macron hosted his Emirati counterpart Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed Al Nahyan ahead of a summit on artificial intelligence in Paris next week that will gather around 100 countries to focus on AI's potential. Well, Emmanuel Macron and UAE President attended the signing of a protocol agreement on cooperation in artificial intelligence between their two countries at the Presidential Palace in Paris, France. France and the United Arab Emirates agreed on a framework accord for a 1 gigawatt data center dedicated to artificial intelligence that represents investments of between $30 to $50 billion. The February 10 to 11 summit also aims to put France and Europe on the AI map as they try to rival the US and China. Well, efforts to bring peace to the Democratic Republic of Congo are gaining momentum, with the United Nations Chief Antonio Guterres calling for mediation to end the crisis. Meanwhile, as African leaders prepare to meet to address the escalating violence, the occupied city of Goma remains on the brink of uncertainty. Take a look.
The United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres called for peace in the Eastern Democratic Republic of Congo, urging African leaders to work towards ending the escalating violence in the region. Highlighting the need for mediation, Guterres warned that the conflict risks engulfing the entire region.
Silence the guns, stop the escalation, respect the sovereignty and territorial integrity of the Democratic Republic of the Congo, uphold international human rights law and international humanitarian law. There is no military solution. It's time for all the signatories of the Peace, Security and Cooperation Framework for the DRC and the region to honor their commitment.
His appeal comes ahead of the high-stakes summit of the East African Community and the Southern African Bloc in Tanzania starting Friday. The crucial summit is expected to bring together Congo President Felix Tshisekedi and Rwanda's President Paul Kagame. Congo has accused Rwanda of supporting the rebels in the east, a claim that Rwanda denies. Separately, the United Nations Human Rights Council will hold a special meeting in Geneva to discuss the dire situation in the Eastern Democratic Republic of Congo. Congo's parliament held an extraordinary session this week to address the escalating conflict in the eastern region. Some lawmakers opposed dialogue with the armed groups, citing concerns over democratic principles and territorial integrity.
We must seize this moment to provide the President of the Republic with constructive contributions to secure victory in this war, both diplomatically and politically.
Meanwhile, the M23 rebels gathered hundreds of people in a stadium in Goma on Thursday, introducing new administrators for the areas they have captured. The situation, nevertheless, remains volatile, with the rebels continuing their advance, seizing another mining town in the South Kivu province and pushing towards the provincial capital Bukavu, despite declaring a unilateral ceasefire. The United Nations has reported that clashes in Congo's eastern city of Goma resulted in at least 2,900 casualties, with the illegal exploitation of mineral resources in the region remaining a significant factor contributing to the ongoing crisis. Bureau Report, DD India.
And now let's take a look at other stories making news around the world. A passenger train went up in flames in Delaware County of Pennsylvania on Thursday. An eyewitness video showed smoke and flames consuming the first car of the train. All passengers were safely evacuated from the train. The official said that the fire started under the first car of the train and passengers were evacuated at Crumlin Station in Ridley Park, Delaware County. A river in the greater Buenos Aires, Argentina turned an intense red, alarming residents who suspected toxic spills were to blame. According to the local reports, authorities collected water samples from the river to determine the cause of the discoloration. Residents speculated that the red hue might be due to aniline contamination or chemical waste from a nearby depot. The National Museum of Anthropology in Mexico City welcomed Brazilian photographer for his exhibition showcasing 230 images capturing the Amazon forest's vastness and beauty. The exhibition will highlight the Amazon's natural and cultural region, paying tribute to the people and culture of the vast rainforest. And still to come in this edition of DD India Live. We'll give you all the updates from the budget session of Indian Parliament. Torres hat-trick leads Barcelona to 5-0 rout of Valencia in Copa del Rey quarter-finals.
Complex issues, hidden agendas, twists and turns, strategic games. We think all dots are linked. We just need to connect them. Join me every week as I connect the dots to unravel hidden designs in statecraft, mysteries, and decode issues that matter to you. Watch Connecting the Dots with me at these times on DD India.
Welcome back. You're watching DD India Live. I'm Lipakshi Khurana, in discussion on the budget to continue in the Indian Parliament on Friday during the question hour in lower house of the Lok Sabha. Minister of State for Health and Family Welfare, Anupriya Patel, replied to the questions asked by member regarding maternal and infant health outcomes. Well, in the upper house, also known as Rajya Sabha, 0 hour or matters raised with the permission of the chair were taken up. Later in the day, private members' bill to be taken up. And sharing new monetary policy, RBI Governor Sanjay Malhotra has announced that the RBI has cut the repo rate by 25 basis points to 6.25%. Its first rate cut in nearly 5 years to support economic growth. Following the announcement, the Indian rupee strengthened, bond yields rose and equity markets responded positively. The move also aligns with market expectations as inflation eases.
The MPC decided unanimously to reduce the policy rate by 25 basis points from 6.5% to 6.25%. The SDF rate shall be at 6.0%, and the marginal standing facility rate, also called the MCF rate, and the bank rate shall be 6.5%. The MPC also decided unanimously again to continue with the neutral stance and remain unambiguously focused on a durable alignment of inflation with the target while supporting growth.
Well, RBI has estimated that real GDP growth for the next year to be at about 6.7%.
The RBI has estimated that real GDP growth for the next year to be at about 6.7%, with Q1 at 6.7%, Q2 at 7%, Q3 at 6.5%, and Q4 too at 6.5%.
Well, the governor also highlighted the growth of various sectors.
Economic activity is expected to improve in the coming year. Agricultural activity remains upbeat on the back of healthy reservoir levels and bright Rabi prospects. Manufacturing activity is expected to recover gradually in the second half of this year and beyond. Early corporate results for Q3, and we have more than 50% of the results now as we speak. It indicates a mild recovery in the manufacturing sector. Business expectations remain upbeat, as evident from the PMI Manufacturing Future Output Index.
Well, some news from the Mahakumbh now, drawn by the spiritual grandeur of the Mahakumbh. A group of 68 Hindu devotees from Pakistan's Sindh province took a holy dip at the Sangam. The pilgrims, who travelled on special visas, bathed in the holy confluence of the Ganga, Yamuna and Saraswati rivers and immersed the ashes of their ancestors in the sacred water, seeking peace for their souls. Mahant Ramnath, who accompanied the group, said they had first visited Haridwar, where they immersed the ashes of nearly 480 ancestors and performed rituals before coming to the Mahakumbh. Earlier in the day, during a visit to the Sri Guru Karshni camp in Sector 9, one of the pilgrims, Govind Ram Makhija from Sindh, expressed his long-held desire to attend the Mahakumbh, having heard about it in the past few months. And on to some sports updates now. The 38th National Games in Uttarakhand continue to witness intense competition across various sports disciplines, with services emerging as the front runner in the medal tally. The state has secured a total of 56 medals, including 31 gold, 13 silver and 12 bronze, showcasing remarkable performances across multiple events. Falling closely, the Karnataka holds the second position with a total of 56 medals, comprising 30 gold, 11 silver and 15 bronze. Maharashtra currently stands third with 94 medals, including 19 gold, 38 silver and 37 bronze, with their consistent performances. Other states adding an impressive tally include Tamil Nadu, Manipur and Delhi and Kerala, with several events yet to be held. A ranking may witness further shifts in the coming days. And Liverpool thrashed Tottenham Hotspur 4-0 at Anfield on Thursday to set up the League Cup final against Newcastle United. Cody Gakpo, Mohamed Salah, Dominic Szoboszlai and Virgil van Dijk were on target for the Reds. Now they will face Newcastle at Wembley on March 16 for the first silverware of the English season. Newcastle saw off Arsenal to 0-4-0 on aggregate on Wednesday to secure their second final in 3 years. And the final will be Liverpool's 15th in the League Cup, but a first in English football for Liverpool's Dutch manager Arne Slot, who replaced Jurgen Klopp at the end of the last season. And forward Ferran Torres scored a hat-trick to lead an imperious Barcelona to a 5-0 rout of Valencia in the Copa del Rey quarter-finals on Thursday. Torres scored from a quick counter-attack in the second minute and extended the lead in the 17th minute. Fermin Lopez scored the third in another counter 5 minutes later, and Torres gave Barca a 4-goal lead with a strike from the edge of the box. The visitors took their foot off the gas after the break, but Yamal still added a 5th goal in the 52nd minute. Barcelona joined Real Madrid, Atletico and Real Sociedad in the semi-finals, with the draw set to take place on Wednesday. And in tennis, Carlos Alcaraz eased into the quarterfinals of the Rotterdam Open on Thursday with a comfortable straight-set win over Italian quarter Andrea Vavasori. The top-seeded Alcaraz had far too much firepower and accuracy for Vavasori, running out a 6-2, 6-1 winner in just over an hour. Alcaraz will now face Pedro Martinez for a place in the semi-finals. Stefanos Tsitsipas saved a match point and battled from a set down to overcome local hope Talon Grexpoor in a 3-hour marathon. The world number 12 overcame spirited resistance from the Dutchman with a 6-7, 7-6, 7-5 victory. Tsitsipas now faces a quarter-final clash with Italian qualifier Mattia Bellucci. Well, acclaimed actor George Clooney previewed his Broadway debut in Good Night and Good Luck on Thursday. The two-time Oscar winner admitted to feeling nervous about stepping on stage, noting he hasn't performed in live theatre since 1986. Clooney, who is both the co-writer and star of the Good Night and Good Luck, has adapted the play from his 2005 film, which centers on broadcast news legend Edward R. Murrow and his role during Senator Joseph McCarthy's 1950s witch hunts. All right, that's all for this edition of DD India Live. But let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. For those on the go, you can get all the latest news and updates from India and across the world on the DD India mobile app. The app is available on both Android and iOS platforms. Scan the QR code on the screen to download now. We'll be back in more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Vipakshi Khurana from all of us here in Delhi. Thanks for watching DD India Live.